Law enforcement, civic and religious leaders across the United States are taking precautionary measures as war continues in Israel, where 27 Americans have been killed by Hamas militants and 14 U.S. citizens are unaccounted for. Former Hamas leader Khaled Mashal called for Friday, October 13, to be a global day of rage, and local and federal law enforcement agencies in the United States are increasing security measures at Jewish houses of worship and Jewish-owned businesses, News.com has learned. According to reports, Mashal believes a day of rage could send a message of rage to Zionists and to America, amid the war in Israel, which has seen 1,300 of its people killed since the carnage began over the weekend. Such protests have been staged previously, mainly leading to unrest in Gaza and the West Bank, but the volatility in the world today has sparked fears that potential violence could spill over to other places. Oren Siegel, the vice president of the ADL Center on Extremism, told NBC News that such calls to action are fairly common in the Middle East but are starting to become more common elsewhere. Right now, we're concerned about the vulnerability of the Jewish community, and the possibility of violence targeting the community, Siegel said. We're seeing how white supremacists online are glorifying what happened in Israel. We are also seeing organization on the left at rallies and other events who justify and celebrate that violence as well. According to Palestinian Media Watch, Mashal called for the people of Palestine, Gaza, Al-Aqsa Mosque and Jerusalem to point out that Zionists and Americans have double standards when it comes to conflict in the world. But before Friday, and after it, and on it, we want to say to the Zionists, their criminal leaders, and their extremists, and to the Americans who rush to their aid, that they have double standards. In their eyes the Ukraine war is just, and the Palestinian people's war is unjust, Mashal said. Law enforcement officials told NBC News that they are monitoring online threats, which they say none are specific and credible at this point, in hopes to assure no attacks take place on the declared day of rage. Large U.S. cities including New York, Los Angeles and Washington, D.C., are stepping up security as they often the main targets of hate crimes. We are at a heightened posture and talking to our counterparts across the country. This is the highest level of security a lot of cities have had in some time, one senior law enforcement official told NBC News. With Friday in focus, law enforcement officials said that they will be on high alert, especially at Jewish houses of worship, Jewish-owned businesses and Israeli diplomatic buildings, NBC News reports. We are really interested to see how Friday plays out because it will tell us a lot about the energy in the U.S. for anti-Semitic rhetoric and attacks, who comes out, how many people, the law enforcement official told NBC News.